All right, to this now, school uniform manufacturers are enjoying a bumper season as back to school shopping peaks. But the Competition Commission is turning up the heat on schools over costly exclusive uniform deals. The regulator is urging schools to make uniforms as generic as possible, appoint multiple suppliers and restrict exclusive branding to essential reusable items to minimize costs. The Commission will be developing a national monitoring tool to track school uniform suppliers and prices, with deployment expected before the end of 2026. We're now joined via video link by Asive Dlanjwa, Executive Director at Free Education Movement. Asive, thank you so much for your time. Well, it is that time of the year, just a day before schools open tomorrow. Many parents have to worry about so many things from, as you've seen in that clip, placement at schools, school fees, transport money, you name it. Add to that the price of school uniforms, which brings us to our conversation. I mean, do you think the pressure by the Competition Commission is effective? I mean, because right now, back to school season for many parents feels more like a financial crisis.
Good afternoon, Unati, and also to your viewers and to your listeners. I think maybe also let me start by congratulating the class of 2025 for the completion of their matric. They've done exceptionally well. To the issue of the Competition Commission, and particularly the issue of the uniforms, look, it's a crisis. It's a crisis in the sense that almost every item and everything within the value chain to be able to access education seems to be commodified. The understanding behind schools having uniforms is so that they would become accessible, so that even the parents of the learners who cannot afford, they can be able to buy that uniform, and that there is no disparity between the various learners. So it's rather unfortunate what is happening. And is the pressure enough from the Competition Commission? Probably not, because you still have many schools that have these exclusive supplier arrangements and deals with certain suppliers. They're littered all over the country. And maybe the snag with the Competition Commission is that they're saying they're not going to regulate the price, but they will regulate the anti-competitive behavior, meaning that they can collude some of these suppliers, even if they're not sole providers, collude to a point where that they can then have set a particular price, and that price might not necessarily be within range of affordability.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, as some say, it does feel like we are effectively pricing some children out of basic education before they even enter the classroom. Some political party, or one at least, the ATM, has proposed a system, I think, a kind of model. It says it's a award-based cooperative model, saying that uniforms for 13 plus million children or learners could help tackle unemployment and poverty. I mean, would such tools or models address, this problem that we're sitting with from an affordability, at least, point of view?
Look, I think there needs to be decisiveness. We think there needs to be decisiveness in terms of the pricing and having some sort of price ceilings on certain products that are regulated by the regulator. Cooperatives, as much as there's nothing wrong with the idea in itself, but the point is that it will still be within, you will still be subjecting it to the so-called market forces, meaning that if a few businesses or sufficient businesses are able to agree and collude to the extent to which they want to determine a particular price, whether you're cooperative or not, the bottom line is that will be the market price for that particular product. And that is what we need to run away from. We need to regulate the prices of basic goods and basic necessities that are required by all learners, and this must cut across all public schools, because these are public schools, some of them. The private schools, yes, it might not be as easy, but really with public schools, the regulator working with the department and other government entities needs to set price ceilings for certain products, such that irrespective of who's providing it, that they cannot go beyond a certain price. So I think that would be a more decisive action in terms of ensuring that we're able to manage access to those services. And parents, as we said right now, are not stressed that they have to buy a jersey for 300 and a shirt for 200, and they have absolutely no other avenue, because these are branded materials that can only be bought from a certain and a specific supplier.
And I mean, do you believe then the Department of Education is doing enough, to protect parents from what some are now describing profiteering? I mean, when you look at in some schools, for instance, you've got the generic gray pants, white shirt, which is seemingly fine because then you've got a whole collection of stores to buy from. But in some private schools, mainly, that choice of luxury is not there.
No, the department is not doing enough. I mean, it's clear even from the reports that have been filed and the complaints that are being filed on a daily basis with the Competition Commission that the department is not doing enough. Whilst we acknowledge the partnership between the Competition Commission and the department, or rather the collaboration between them and the department to try and put in guidelines and this tool, that's not enough. And as I said, I think the biggest snag with that is that it does not deal with price. It deals with competitive or anti-competitive behaviors within the industry of uniforms. So I don't think they're doing enough. And by the way, people think it's only private schools that have these branded uniforms. There are countless public schools that have these specific gourmet, if you like, uniforms that are out of reach to learners who come from poor and working class background. And the department needs to step in there decisively because it directly impacts the ability of learners from poor and working class background to access those schools, because many of them end up not attending throughout the year because the uniforms, they can't buy the uniforms, and what they might have had in the beginning of the year is worn out. So we don't think they're doing enough. They could definitely do more, and the more has to be decisive and not suggestive as the guidelines are currently seeking to intervene.
And Asive, as we wrap up our interview, if nothing changes, what are the long-term consequences, for access to education? In fact, also, consequences where it speaks to dropout rates as it relates to learners, because, I mean, the frustration and the struggle, especially for parents, is quite palpable.
Unathi, we're already seeing the consequences of this crisis in the sense that the dropout rates are absolutely high. If you look at the number of learners that start in grade R and that ultimately matriculate, the numbers are absolutely horrendous. And if you like, it's more than about the uniforms. It's really the fact that many, as I've said in the beginning, many aspects of the education value chain have been commodified from basic education all the way to higher education. So those are some of the things I think the department probably needs to deal with because we don't have to look to the future to see what will be the consequences of this. We are living in those consequences as we speak. You've got students dropping out every day in South Africa. And when you listen to some of their stories, they either could not afford uniform, or it was shoes, or it was transport, or it was food. These are all basic necessities. And obviously, I mean, this is notwithstanding the fact that a lot of work has been done, especially in terms of scholar transport, school nutrition programs, as we would have seen the impact thereof in KZN with their current results. So there has been work there, but we are saying across the value chain, let's decommodify the access, and we will reduce the rates, and also will broaden the sector.
Asive, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Asive Dlanjwa is the Executive Director at Free Education Movement.